covering the basics as we prep for winter of 2023 and into 2024. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, the bald eagle here. Tonight we are drinking 8 o'clock coffee. It is turned into a nice dinner coffee here for me. Nice mid-afternoon, late coffee. Not too strong, not too light. Just right. Perfect for this coffee rant tonight. If you have to hit pause on this video to get your coffee together or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a lengthy discussion. We have a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about stocking up on things as we do on the channel here, being prepared for the future, in case everything hits the fan, or even if it doesn't. It's good to save money in the process. It is holiday season here. Good time to stock up on certain goods and things that are plentiful. Now, as to where we see prices pretty good on holiday items right now, we are seeing prices go up on other things, but we're not going to focus on that tonight. We're going to focus on things that people have been saying in the comments that are good to stock up on. We have a lot of preppers on the channel here. Me and Jessica always prepare ourselves for the unknown, because there's a lot of unknown these days with everything going on around the world, different conflicts happening and things. We never know what is going to happen. We have a lot of people out here with some itchy trigger fingers, and I'll tell you what, it's good to be prepared nonetheless. I was reading an article the other day, and this scientist was talking about solar flares. If you don't know about solar flares, well, one gets close enough to Earth, it could cause outages. Sort of like an EMP or something could cause internet disruption. If something like this ever happens, you want to make sure that you have things for your devices. Like ones we talk about a lot are like those fuel banks, right, that can charge up your electronics. Now, if one of these happens, it may not matter anyway, with the internet being down and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we're prepared nonetheless to be able to charge other things like flashlights and just other items that need electricity. I know someone had mentioned the other day a perfect prep item for something like this would be like a hand crank radio. I think that's really smart. Anything that you can hand crank to get power to make it work is perfect. Something you don't need batteries for. Something, and if you're with your family and something like this ever happens, well, take turns. Take turns cranking that weather radio or whatever it is you have. But, we're just going to talk about some of these things. A lot of the things we always talk about. Always good having extra batteries. You can find cheap batteries on Amazon. We stock up on batteries from Amazon and different places. Anywhere we can find a deal. Whether Duracell has the deal this week or Energizer has the deal the next week. And, sometimes I'll spend an extra $1 or $2 on those batteries, Duracell or Energizer, just because out of all the cheapo batteries that I've ever used, I feel like Energizer and Duracell win with me. They last the longest. I've tested many batteries. I know some people say that Kirkland brand batteries are, I think you said they were the same as Duracell. I don't know if Members Mark is the same as Energizer. It is funny, though, that Costco sells Duracell and their Kirkland brand, and Sam's Club sells Energizer and their Members Mark brand. So I don't know. They could be the same. But I will say we've gotten Members Mark batteries before, and they just don't seem to last as long. I don't know. That's something that's kind of hard to gauge, because something you use may be using more power than something else that maybe you put a stronger battery in that's lasting forever. Like a watch is going to last forever, obviously, but if you're using some kind of handheld device or something that uses a lot of juice, those batteries are going to run down quicker no matter what kind of battery you're using. But anyway, batteries. Didn't even write a list today, guys. Just having a conversation with you guys tonight, just talking about some of these things. I know we get comments on these all the time to chat about some of these things. And, the reason why I brought up the whole solar flare thing is, one, it's kind of fresh in my mind. And I this is something that can happen. This is something that could happen. And it's good to make sure that you know about these things. I don't know if most of you or if any of you know about solar flares that come from the sun. And I know over the last couple of years there has been more activity than normal. Now, not to scare anyone, they have no idea when this could ever happen. I mean, I feel like there's probably just as much of a chance as an asteroid or something, which I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know, but it's good to think about because that keeps you in the mind of preparedness and making sure that you are ready for any kind of event that could happen. That's the extreme. The way I look at it, that's the extreme. Other than, an all-out World War III, that kind of thing would be the extreme because it would take out power, right? And we run on power. America and the rest of the world runs on power. And, it might be a good idea to hone in on some of your outdoor skills. Practice building a fire outside. Spin that fishing pole out there. Try and catch a couple fish. Maybe try and fillet a fish. I don't know. I love fishing. Maybe hunting. If hunting's your thing, I do believe it's hunting season in a lot of states right now, if not all of them. I think it's deer season, yeah. And, these are things that we need to make sure that we're practicing and that we're outdoors doing these things. But for the most part, things that we always talk about here on the channel is food. And again, with the holidays being here, happy holiday week, everybody. It's so nice seeing all the families coming in. I'm a pretty, voicey person. I talk to everybody, and it's nice to see all the family members, they're all waving, "Hey, Dan, good to see you again this year." But we love the holidays, as you guys know. And, it's just a good feeling when everybody starts coming back. But anyway, we have so many things going on with different holiday foods and stuff. And as to where a lot, we should be buying a lot of these things up. I'll tell you what, when we were talking about the canned pumpkin the other day, we got so many comments on so many different uses for pumpkin. I was shocked. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. People talking about adding pumpkin to dog food and stuff. I've heard about that before. We don't have a dog. But that's interesting. And dogs apparently love pumpkin. And as I always say, make sure you check for allergies and stuff like that, before you do something like that. But I know a lot of people were given different recipes on pumpkin, like many things, many different uses. And Crisco. One thing I think we forgot about Crisco, or at least I did, is with Crisco, you can use these things for different oils and use them for candle. You can mix them into a concoction to make it into a candle and use them as like heating oil and stuff. Now, I'm no expert in that, and I need to look, I'm sure some of you out there are. So make sure you let us know down in the comments some more uses of that. I know we have a couple people on the channel that are always putting many different uses of products that we see in the stores and our store videos. In the comments, they're putting recipes of different things from medicinal to just everyday uses. Really love that. Really awesome. We've got some awesome people on our channel here that are doing that. But I'll tell you what, yeah, there's so many different uses that we can do with everything. And as prices continue to soar up beyond belief, we need to get creative. We need to get creative in a lot of things we're doing, in order to save money. One of those things is cooking for yourself. Making sure that, a lot of these things, we talk about it all the time. Recipe cookbooks, and really, honestly, you're watching us on YouTube here. So you have the tool right now to check on YouTube and online to find all these different kinds of recipes that you're looking for. I guess me just sitting here talking about it, I never think about these things. I do that, right? I'll look on like, hey, Jess, let's check this out. Let's try this recipe here. Or maybe a recipe she had or I had where, it didn't look right. Like or there was some things we wanted to take out of that recipe. And then we would just look up different recipes and have all kinds of different versions. I recommend everybody do that. And you may want to jot it down on some paper, right? Because as we go along here, if we have one of these events where the internet goes out for a while, it would be good to have some notes This is something I would like to introduce to you called a pen. This is a pen right here. Turn that like that. It opens up. You can write all this stuff down. And the awesome thing, it lasts forever. You don't lose it in a file. It doesn't get hacked. It doesn't have some kind of cyber attack. Pen, right, forever. Yeah, it's a lot more work and, arguably takes up a lot of space. But you know what? All these notes that I ever do for these videos, everything that I always get, I write down on paper. Right here. Here, I'll even show you. Right here. I mean, I'm not going to show, make sure I don't have any sensitive things in here real quick. But yeah, all these different soups and all this stuff. Some of the notes that we go over in some of our different videos. When I'm comparing things, when I'm making sure. Sometimes it's good to just write things out to make sure that it makes sense. Because when when you're looking all this stuff up on the internet and you're looking up different things, especially with like sensitive information and stuff like that, sometimes it feels good to write it out. Because when you're writing things out, or if you talk it out, you've probably learned this in school. If you talk it out or write it out, it will instantly either make sense or not make sense. And if it doesn't make sense when you're writing it out, then chances are these are the things that I usually scratch that we don't talk about on the channel, because it's like, you know what? I don't know. This could mean something, but the internet's funny. It could mean something else. Like that funny recall thing that popped up the other day that wasn't a recall. It was obviously taken down. We're not going to go into that, but I'll tell you what, that was pretty messed up. And it's not true anyway. But that was just an example of, sometimes you look things up and then it turns out not to be true, But anyway, just some other things that you want to pay attention to. The holiday sales, despite not being as good as we've seen in the past, some of them are. Now, some of them have come and gone. I feel like the best deals at Kroger are over, but they still got the deals on the turkeys. Meijer still has the deals on their turkeys, and we may actually see these well past Thanksgiving. They may sell these until they run out, at least of their ones that they're willing to sell this year. So keep that in mind. And we're always on the lookout. If you're new to this channel, we go to the stores every day, except for today. Either we do a coffee rant, we talk about these things every day, but I visit a lot of the different stores to try and compare prices, find the best deals for all of us, and today's day and age, we have to look just to see if they're getting the product in. We get a lot of comments on different shortages of things. One of them that seems to be at the top of the list right now is over-the-counter medicines. Now, I know we have a few longtime viewers in Canada, some new viewers in Canada have been talking about over-the-counter medicines kind of disappearing. Well, now we're hearing some of it in the States. We have been hearing about some of it in the States, just not as much as in Canada. There's a lot of them that I guess you guys aren't getting. Now, we saw a bunch of the children's Tylenol. I know children's medicine's a big thing in Canada. Don't know what's happening with that. But lots of children's Tylenol at Walmart. We saw that the other day. So if you happen to miss that video, we did talk about that in the video where we go to Walmart. Also, Jessica's in that video. So if you happen to miss it, make sure you check it out. Love having her in the videos. I wish I could have her in more videos. We are going to be doing some holiday videos as we go along here. I know we had a couple people wanting to show our Christmas decorations and all that stuff. We're gonna tie all that in here at some point. Jessica's been really busy with what she's been doing and having to do all that stuff. And obviously, well, not obviously, but I'm not gonna put up all the Christmas decorations just so she can say, no, that's not how you do it. Because that's how it would turn out. And, I would try, but Jessica is, she is a working elf that is very particular. She wants it to look perfect. As you guys know, most of you who've been on the channel for years know the kind of artwork that she puts into all of the Christmas stuff and the holiday stuff. And once she has that all together, we will be doing a short video on showing all the different Christmas decorations and stuff. And I hope to be able to do some maybe Thanksgiving treat video here. Maybe here in the next couple days. We'll see what happens. That's why I shouldn't even mention this stuff. But, I hope to be able to do that. If she can't, we'll put together something. We'll talk about some of our favorite Thanksgiving meals and stuff like that. But wanted to kind of keep this coffee rant a little light, right? I feel we're talking about so many different bad things because it really is. I mean, it's all doom and gloom, and it's hard to you know talk about these kind of things all the time. So we're going to add in some different holiday cheer. I've tried to do that with some of the holiday prices and stuff like that. Last week, I'm going to be honest with you, last week was probably the best time that I have had in the stores in well over, probably since last year when we covered all this stuff. Because it's all good news. Get these canned goods for 50 cents. Here's these canned goods for 69 cents. It's like, it's nice to have, and that just give you an idea of how bad it's been when you get so excited about 50-cent canned goods. I mean, that's a good deal, and it's something definitely worth getting excited over. But I mean, some of the things this year haven't been as good. I will say Kroger though. Kroger has really stepped up to the plate. And I feel like Walmart hasn't. And I know most of our viewers on this channel shop at Walmart. And that's what kind of makes me sick to my stomach, is having to go to Walmart and tell you how much the prices are going up here right before Thanksgiving. And to be honest with you, their sales on Thanksgiving options and holiday foods and stuff like that aren't as good. They're not as good as some of the stuff is I guess, or the same price. I haven't seen any really great deals. Honestly, the best deal I've seen at Walmart, $2 boxes of stuffing, which I feel like most of the viewers on our channel are going to other options, like the Great Value stuffing, which is a good price. Aldi stuffing, or dressing, whatever you like to call it. I know some people call it dressing. We call it stuffing. I call it stuffing. Pop, Coca-Cola, soda pop, soda, everybody calls something different. We say pop, by the way. Let's see. And a couple people were asking if I could check some of the prices on the pop coming up this week. I will. I don't know if we're going to see it. The great deal might have been last week. I know we were seeing those digital coupons on like the 12 packs for $3.99 at Kroger and stuff. I don't know. I'm going to check at Kroger. I may go to see, their sale won't start until Wednesday. And I feel like by that point, we may already be through the holiday, but if you're stocking up on pop anyway, it would still be good to know what the prices are. So we'll definitely go to Kroger on Wednesday. And I feel like I've kind of trailed off what my main subject of this video was going to be, but you know what? That's okay. We're just hanging out talking. Holiday week here, good to stock up on all of these different foods. It's all better prices than it usually is. But again, Walmart, okay, not great, We're seeing tons of things at Kroger, tons of things at Meijer. I will be going to Meijer tomorrow morning, and we'll see what they got. I know they're going to still have their turkeys, 59 cents a pound. Some people were saying they were a little cheaper. I know that the MPerks deal, the digital coupons at Meijer, offer a 10-cent deal, 10-cent off deal. We'll have to see if that's still going on. That was last week, but I'm sure they're probably doing it again this week, since this week's Thanksgiving. I guess that's what really confused me, is usually the week right before Thanksgiving is when all the best sales are. Okay, well, it was earlier this year. Kind of caught us off guard, and last year caught us off guard because we saw so many different price increases the week before Thanksgiving, which I thought was kind of crazy. And that's kind of where I'm getting my thought of the pop sales, is because we saw the sales on soda pop the week before Thanksgiving, or the 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, and then leading up to Thanksgiving, it wasn't on sale. As a matter of fact, there was a huge price increase on pop, Coca-Cola and Pepsi products right before Thanksgiving. There was a lot of people getting upset about that. Me too. And I wasn't even drinking pop, but I was upset for you guys. But yeah, for the most part, things are good. We count our blessings every day. It's awesome that we can go into stores and buy our food. When it all comes down to it, I know some people have said that on the channel, and believe me, I agree with you. I agree. I hate to see all the heavy prices. And a couple people had mentioned something about the CEO of Walmart talking about them lowering the prices on food. I hope so. I mean, that would be good. I'll let my personal feelings rest on that. Do I believe it? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. The one thing I guess that kind of bugs me, and here could be part of the rant of the video here. I've been hearing like politicians and people of power, people who are rich people, talking about we need to get inflation down to lower, the prices in the grocery stores are ridiculous, and they're right. They're right. We do need to get inflation down. Prices in the grocery stores are ridiculous. But let's keep in mind here, when you're talking about numbers here, okay? When you're talking about numbers, inflation numbers, the CPI numbers and all that stuff doesn't have anything to do with food or energy. So gas, electric, food is not included in the numbers when they calculate inflation. Now, I will say this. Now, whether this is what they were thinking, I don't know, but this is what they were not saying, is inflation needs to go away so that everything can fall into place for food prices to lower. Because let's go into why the food prices have gone up to begin with. The first thing everybody wants to mention is pandemic. Okay? And yeah, okay. We're 3 years out of that now. Maybe not out of it, but we're a few years past what's going on. We've got different, it seems like there's issues with everything. Employee shortages, transportation issues. It's going to take, but yeah, we're still seeing prices go through the roof on everything else too. It's not just food. Okay, we're seeing prices go up on everyday things like cars, housing. That ain't coming down. And what kills me too is when I heard one say, I'm not going to name any names, okay? But I heard somebody say the other day that, these prices in the grocery stores are so high that the inflation has gone up so much on groceries. And I'm thinking to myself like, ooh, yeah, no. Inflation has to come down on everything. And they're saying inflation's cooling. And that inflation isn't as bad as it was a year ago. That is correct. But inflation is inflation. Prices are still going up. Even if it's at 0.1%, prices are still going up. There's no stop period. There has to be a stop period for a little while for everything else to start coming down. And I know there is a million different things at play here. We have minimum wages that have gone up. We have all different kinds of things. But at the same time, how I don't know, guys. I don't have all the answers. All I know is that we got people who sound like they don't know what they're talking about. Talking about how we need to lower grocery prices. I'm wondering if this is why the CEO of Walmart came out and said this, because some of the things that I've heard, and like I said, I won't name any names, but if you watch the news, if you listen to some of this, you may know who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't believe them for a second, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't think these prices are going to drop at all. I think food, if anything, it'll stay where it's at. I don't see food prices dropping at all. At all. And if Walmart prices drop, it's probably not going to be on food. It's definitely not going to be on produce. It's definitely not going to be on meat or dairy, because those are localized things that are all around the country. Okay, so if you pay more for milk, we may not pay as much. These prices are going to stay. Now, dairy could go down at some point because there's been other things that have been raising that price. But it's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild our farmers. We have to rebuild everything, guys. It's ridiculous. We got, prices of everything. To be a farmer these days is outrageous. Where's the incentive to even do it anymore? It's just, if you're not getting paid, or if you're getting cut, and that's the problem. That is the real problem. Money is always the problem. And I'll tell you why, or at least some of the problem. What's going to take inflation to stop, not turn around like they were talking, or go in it doesn't subtract usually. It'll stop, right? Some things could level out. I don't see some things going down. But the thing is that nobody who is in charge of these big, huge corporations are willing to take any kind of pay cut. So it's constantly passed on to the consumer that is leading everyone, who's forcing everyone to shop accordingly the way that you can afford things, to budget out so much that you can't shop like you used to. And I know a lot of people say it's corporate greed. I do believe a lot of it is. Is it all of it? No. But we are seeing it be passed down to everyone else. We're seeing it being passed down to you, me. And it's like, until all these people come together and say, okay, look, $1 trillion is enough. Okay, we need to give back. We need to give back a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, but you got to take some kind of hit. You got to take some kind of cut, right? I mean, and people, and now we just have excuses. We have, employees, in the raises and stuff like that. It's like, don't your workers at least deserve $15 an hour these days? I understand some people could argue the other way, but I mean, it's like $15 an hour that's skimming by. That's, with the prices the way that they are today, that is skimming by. That's barely able to make it. And really, if you're single, that's very hard to make it. I don't know. But, these things are what's going to have to happen for grocery prices to start coming down. Excuse me. I hate to say it like that, but I mean, it really seems like the only answer. We can't just keep printing more money. We can't just keep throwing that into everything, especially when the money that's being printed is being thrown into the wind. And I'm not saying everything, okay? But a lot of it is. A lot of it's just being thrown out the door without any reasoning or understanding of where it's even going or how it's being fluctuated in. I don't know, guys. And I know this went way off base of me talking about prepping items and stuff, but really, this is all talk about preparing for the future, because I don't see people taking a hit on anything. I don't see any big corporations that are going to say, you know what, out of the quadrillion dollars that I've made over the last quarter, let's drop $1 million. Let's drop, what's a few million? So that your consumers are happy. That they can go in and buy a can of vegetables for $1 or less. Which you can still do. But, I mean, some of these things we need to put back into our farmers in America here. We need to make sure that the people who are providing all of your produce that you eat, that you go to the store and get, that they're getting the money, at least the same amount they were making before. Because they're taking huge pay cuts. They're the ones who are taking huge pay cuts. And they're the ones who are feeding America and the world. We need to figure this out, and it needs to be done pretty quickly. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse. And I know we have mixed reviews on different meat and stuff like that. You know what? I don't know. I will keep my opinion on that silent. But I do believe that, you know what? This is America. And this is the land of the free if you pay for it. I always say that. But, it's like cattle farmers and stuff like that should be able to work just as much or harder than they ever have. And they should be getting paid for it. And they should not be paying these hefty prices or being told that they shouldn't be farming. I mean, isn't that crazy? I've read some stories on stuff like that. People saying that they shouldn't be farmers. We need to get rid of this. We need to do this. Who am I to judge? I like my steak. I like my hamburger. Do you? Because it seems like that's wanting to be taken away. I don't know, guys. I wasn't going to get all worked up, but here we are. So, just as we go along here, just be mindful of all these events going on. Be sure that you're paying attention. Make sure that you're stocking up a little bit as your budget allows. Take advantage of some of these holiday sales as they come. We should be seeing more. I know ham has been an issue, but pork has been an issue, guys. Pork is going up in price. We said this was going to happen. We started seeing Tyson closing all these different hog farmers, and I guess there was, some recalls a while back and different things. I don't feel like that had anything to do with it, but all these companies that are shutting down, and the recent ones coming up in the beginning of the year with Jacksonville, I mean, guys, I don't know. But all I know is that we need to make sure that we're stocking up on things as we go along. And I know I preach that like there's no end. But in case there is, we want to make sure we're ready for it. Uh, you know, and I'm sorry if that sounds all doomy and gloomy, but it's the truth, and it's something that we do need to pay attention to. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching the rant today. Prep on. Make sure you're stocking up on the things that you need to, right? Because that's really the main message here is you know what you need. You know the possibilities of things to come. And if you don't have to look too hard. You can just look online and see different things that are going around the world. Look online before it goes down. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't. And, maybe that's just all talk, but things that can happen, could happen, and maybe will happen. I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling. Ranting on. The rant is over for the night, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great night.